Today I'm going to be showing you 36 helpful facts in 99 Nights in the Forest. You probably didn't know that hammers are the most interesting item in the game. When you have a hammer, you can use it to pick up one of these basketball hoops and even bring it back to your base. Pair this with a lightning rod right next to it, and you can climb on top of the basketball hoop and become immortal during cultist raids. But be aware that the crossbow cultists will still shoot you if you get an unlucky spawn like this. You can also pick up toilets with a hammer and bring them back to your base to troll your friends. Hey, where did this toilet come from? And you can even pick up this alpha wolf head in the cabin and bring it back to your base to farm aura. Other than that, I don't think it does anything. If you've ever found a chainsaw, you might know that it actually breaks trees slower than using a strong axe. But using a chainsaw on a big tree is significantly faster than using an axe. I didn't even know you could break big trees until now. And if you want to get even more wood, consider placing a bunch of saplings in the same spot instead of spreading them out, to allow much easier farming once all the trees have grown. Wooden furniture is also really good for collecting wood, because one of these wooden chairs will give you 5 logs after you put it in the grinder. Unfortunately, you cannot take any other types of wood furniture though. This table would probably be like 10 wood. You probably already know this, but the deer will not attack you on the first night. This means that you are free to look around the area all you want on day 1. Night 2, however, you are going to need a flashlight to stun the deer if you travel away from the campfire. But you might not know that you don't actually need to keep the flashlight on in order to stun the deer. Just turn it on for a second and then turn it off, and the deer and the owl will become stunned without wasting too much battery life. But what if you don't have a flashlight? You may have noticed that some of the watchtowers around the map are yellow instead of brown, and if you climb to the top of one of these yellow towers, you can get many guaranteed flashlights. So you never have to trade for a flashlight or look for one in chests ever again, because the yellow tower will always give you a flashlight. A flashlight that you can recharge at a campfire like this, or you can even recharge it in one of these firefly areas if you can't make it back to the campfire in time. Fireflies charging a flashlight is questionable logic, but it honestly makes more sense than the campfire. If you are still afraid of the deer, even with a flashlight, you can just jump on top of this tree branch and hide in the leaves to stop the deer from being able to kill you. You can also just jump down after standing up here for a few seconds, and the deer won't even attack you for the rest of the night. Weird how this works, but I'm not complaining. Finally, if you really don't want to face any of the enemies, you are able to camp in one of the children's basements. Nothing will come down here to kill you, so the only thing you need is a food source and you're good. This is a pretty boring way to beat the game, but who cares? Because day 100 is still day 100. If you're having trouble with fighting cultists, just find a spear and then circle around them while using shift lock, and they won't be able to hit you. This also works for wolves, but not as well for alpha wolves because they have a further hit range. Another combat trick is a way to speed up shooting. By shooting a weapon, then swapping to another slot, and then swapping back to the weapon, you can cancel the time in between shooting. You can also shoot around corners by positioning yourself in third person against a wall like this, and now you can just aim with the cursor around the wall and shoot enemies without letting them even see you. Combine both of these and you're basically cheating. Oh, I think I just got banned. If you're tired of going and collecting food and bringing it all the way back to the campfire, instead you can place one of these rabbit traps in front of a burrow like this to harvest infinite food, because the rabbits will just keep spawning in the trap. You can also use traps to get a hidden badge, which is obtained from dying to your own bear traps. I wonder if anyone has accidentally gotten this badge before. Bear traps are also super OP, as you can use them to insta-kill wolves in the early game. You only need crafting level 2, and it costs 3 scraps per bear trap. And if you pair this with the hunter kit, which allows you to pick up the bear traps and place them again, you only need 1 bear trap to rescue the first kid. If you're always running out of food before making it back to your campfire, you should consider using the Pyromania kit. This kit starts you off with a flamethrower, and you can use this flamethrower to burn animals to death and make them drop cooked food just like Flint and Steel in Minecraft. Not to mention you get a flamethrower, which is kind of an insane early game item. Another really good class is the Gambler class, which, as you probably know, gives you a random item upon starting the game. It also has a 50% chance of upgrading / downgrading chests when you open them, but when you level it all the way, this chance turns to 60%, which means you get a 60% chance of turning a gold chest into a ruby chest if you find one. Just make sure that if you find any ruby chests that you open them first, because a ruby chest will turn into a gold chest after one person has opened it. This means that only one person in your squad gets a chance at opening a ruby chest if you find one, and you want to make sure that that person is you. If you are crafting beds to speed up the amount of time that goes by, you might notice that they take up a lot of space. So you you can actually just stack them on top of each other a little bit to at least save some space. But if this isn't enough, you can always just remove your beds after placing them, and this will keep the same multiplier on the day count that you got from placing the beds. Now I just gotta figure out how to get rid of the kids. If you craft a bunch of shelves for 2 scrap each, you can place the shelves around yourself in a circle like this, and it will stop the cultists from getting through and attacking you. You can then just hit them with a spear like this to clear cultist raids without taking any damage. But if you do take any damage, remember that the campfire gives you fast healing. So if you are ever far away from the campfire on low health, you might just want to run back instead of wasting bandages or medkits. Bandages and medkits might be a little easier to come by than you think though, because you can actually find both of them from fishing. With a level 1 to 4 campfire, you are able to fish bandages from fishing holes, and with a level 5 to 6 campfire, you are actually able to fish medkits as well. Now I personally have never seen this happen, so it's gotta be pretty rare. So you might be better off looking for one of the old hospital buildings or a cultist church to find healing items instead. The old hospitals will be unguarded, but you will have to kill a couple of cultists in order to get the bandages from the church. Shouldn't be a problem if you are using any of the methods from earlier in the video though. Another way to gain health is by eating cake, which can be found randomly across the map or even found growing instead of crops. And you might have thought that cake was just a food item, but it actually heals you for 15 health as well as getting rid of hunger. Of course, finding cake can be really hard, so I would recommend playing on anything above graphics level 1. I don't know if this will specifically help you find cake, but it does actually let you see further, as you can see. If you're far away from the campfire at night, it could be useful to know that the deer is unable to climb buildings. So if you can get to the top of any building, you will be safe from the deer and will only have to worry about the other enemies. There is also no fall damage in 99 Nights in the Forest, so feel free to jump off the top of any building as well. The first time I fell off one of these, I thought I was gonna die. When you're starting out, it can be important to know that there is always a guaranteed piece of coal in the first circle. This will save you the effort of chopping down 2 trees at the start, because this one piece of coal is almost enough to progress the campfire to level 2. Once you hit level 2, if you see one of these mine shafts, you have to loot it, as there is one piece of coal in each of these mine carts, and there is another piece of coal hidden somewhere on the side of the structure. That is 5 pieces of coal from a single structure, which should easily be enough to get you to level 3. When it's raining, losing progress on the campfire can be annoying, but what's even more annoying is randomly getting struck by lightning when you're not near a lightning rod. But by looking up at the sky, you can actually tell when you are about to get hit by lightning. Just look for these little gray clouds and avoid them, because that is where lightning is about to strike. If you manage to kill all the animals outside of their cage, but you somehow lost the key, you are actually able to wait around for a few minutes, and then the door will open without using the key. This is probably a feature to stop people in your squad from taking the keys and then not opening the cage, but it can also be pretty useful if there's a glitch and the key somehow disappears. If you're trying to unlock new classes and you don't want to spend any Robux, you might want to know that there are 2x diamonds during weekends. I think this applies just to diamonds collected in game, but it could also affect diamonds collected from earning badges, which would be super OP if it is your first time playing the game during a weekend.